You're watching Swipe. Here's what's coming up on this week's programme. Chris gets his claws on the tech controlling the perfect animatronic star.
Push, push, push as hard as you can. Push, push, nice. Push, push,
I
push.
find out what a pocket-sized gym feels like. And Luke's joined the battle to take back a dystopia run by machines in our games review. Welcome to Swipe. We've come to the Wearable Technology Show in London this week. The organisers here say it's the biggest event for wearable and net-connected technology in the world. We're going to talk more about clever things you can wear a bit later, because first we're going to check in with Chris, who this week pounced at the chance to hang out with a leopard. Sorry for the pun.
It might look and sound real, but there's nothing natural about this big cat. It's an animatronic leopard, a robot feline dressed in fake fur. It's being used as part of a National Geographic campaign to raise awareness of the plight of endangered big cats. It took 15 people 5 weeks to build the beast from scratch.
There's about 30 or 40 different movements in there, including eye mechanisms, ears, sniff, a growl. Then we've got full neck movement. We've got a tail breathing mechanism. So it's all engineered based on the anatomy of a real leopard.
Can you show me how to use it? How do I make it growl, for example?
So if you pull the right stick to the right and the right switch up, after 3, it will growl. So 1, 2, 3, and...
Scary.
And then if we go to this transmitter over here, you can see we've got the tail on there and the breathing. Irresistible, isn't it?
So how does it go from being a metal skeleton to the finished article?
You can see here that we've got the foam latex skin here on top of the fiberglass core. If, for example, we want it to sniff or growl, then we need a mechanism that can manipulate that skin in that way. And we would look at that and work out where we want to have the mechanisms move the skin.
Painters then give the animal its spots. John Studio has built various robots for TV adverts and films like those in the Harry Potter franchise. But creating lifelike machines is time-consuming and labour-intensive. So with Hollywood blockbusters making more and more use of CGI, are animatronics likely to become redundant one day?
I think the benefits of using animatronics is the in-camera interaction. I think that's probably the best thing, because you have an actor on set with an animatronic, and they can actually relate to it and act against it, and we can puppeteer and control it. Also, from a technical point of view, it can be lit, and it actually feels like it's there. Sometimes with CGI, depending on the budget especially, it can feel like it's a bit too glossy and it doesn't feel like it's actually there, and you have actors that are perhaps acting to a tennis ball on the end of a stick instead of a dragon, for example.
For John and his team, making lifelike robots is clearly a passion. And with new techniques like 3D printing helping to drive down costs in the industry, there's plenty of work opportunities for people like him to sink their teeth into. Chris Creegan, Sky News.
You're watching Swipe. Still to come, I'll be getting a good look at some of the offerings here at the Wearable Technology Show. That's coming up after a roundup of this week's tech news. We got to see the first pictures of the test track for a futuristic transport system that could cut the journey time from London to Edinburgh to 45 minutes. Hyperloop is being worked on in the Nevada desert to carry commuters in capsules that could reportedly reach speeds of up to 800 miles per hour. Nominations for the BAFTA Games Awards were announced, with Uncharted 4 leading with 8 nominations. Close behind is Inside with 7. The ceremony is next month. Uber drivers look set to start ferrying non-emergency patients to and from hospital in parts of London. It's after a deal between an NHS trust and a social care company. And Jaguar Land Rover unveiled a new car customised for the Red Cross. The Project Hero vehicle is fitted with its own drone, allowing crisis teams to reach disaster zones when a car alone can't. Stick around for our games review in just a few minutes. It's you versus the world in Mario Sports Superstars. Before that, though, let's talk wearables now. And I want to start with what the makers tell me are the world's first conductive tights. Come and meet Jim and model Gareth. You're wearing the tights. Jim, I should say for our UK viewers that over here we would call these leggings, not tights. But tell me what they do.
Well, basically, we have conductive panels in these tights that you wear them while sleeping to promote microcirculation for rapid recovery after exercise.
So is Gareth being quietly electrocuted?
Yeah, basically he's being conductive.
The leggings stimulate muscles through the night to apparently boost healing. Gareth, would you realistically wear these to bed?
I would, out of interest, I would.
Out of interest?
Like, as in, if they do what it says they do.
Other performance-linked exhibits here include technology to monitor brainwaves of upcoming Formula One drivers while they're on the track.
We can actually see when a driver gets, for example, agitated, is not too sure about the track, doesn't really know what to do, or if there's any underlying issue, and then we can use that information to devise a training plan that exactly taps into how their brain works.
Talking of training, how about this for a workout?
So this is really, my thighs are, really working pretty hard to do this.
There's a portable strength training device under his right foot, in case you were wondering. It can tailor exercise suggestions to your own strength level.
Push, push, push as hard as you can. Push, push, nice. Push, 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 push. 16, nice. Okay, very good.
Not technically a wearable, but Leo says it's pocketable.
You can do this anywhere.
I don't think I could do this at the bus stop. Remember, wearables come in many forms with many functionalities. Here's a glove that translates sign language for speech-disabled people. Fingers wired with sensors collect data from movements. That's converted to text, then speech.
One day we hope to give a voice to those who can't speak.
This will allow them to go out freely and interact without having someone to help them communicate.
Then there are the more recognisable types of wearable. Ta-da! This T-shirt lets you draw on it with glow-in-the-dark ink that soon disappears, bringing the Snapchat concept to clothing. Why?
So imagine a night out with your friends and you can draw anything you like onto the T-shirt and it will last for 5 minutes and then just completely disappears.
When you come to cover this event, do you think, wow, this is a glimpse of the future, or do you think it's a room full of faddy gimmicks?
I wouldn't necessarily say faddy gimmicks, but it's definitely technologies that are very niche and that aren't going to ever make it into the mainstream. They'll be very useful for a certain segment of people, but it's not something that you or I will be wearing in the near future.
But let's not get bogged down with the future, especially when there's still so much for me to have a go on here. Oh, and note to self, bring actual workout gear next time. I think it's time for a well-earned rest now. We're going to switch over from tech you can wear to tech you can play, because it's video games time. Here's Luke.
Nier Automata is a new action RPG title from Platinum Games, who are probably best known for their work on the Bayonetta franchise. With that in mind, you can expect fast and frenetic combat and beautifully realised worlds. What's different this time around, in this offering from Platinum, is it is a massive open world, replete with all that you'd expect in a quality RPG. So hub towns, the ability to upgrade weapons, the ability to sell things, and it is all gorgeously realised with beautiful, beautiful enemies. The one thing that is a little bit weak that I would watch out for is the story, which goes from naught to bonkers in about 2 seconds flat. But if you can handle that, there is a fantastic game here that you would be a fool to miss out on. Mario Sports Superstars is a new 3DS title from the team at Camelot, who made Mario Golf World Tour, which was an excellent title. This time around, they've expanded their ambitions and are tackling 5 different sports, which are football, baseball, golf, tennis and horse riding. Now, some of you may be worried that that means the games will be diluted, but thankfully they are all incredibly robust and enjoyable in their own rights. What's even better from my perspective is while there is online multiplayer, there's also local co-op, so you can play with your friends. There's 18 different characters available from throughout the Mario franchise. And best of all for me, with the Switch launching last week, some people have been concerned that this will mean the 3DS will be neglected by Nintendo. But this is a very strong mission statement to prove that that is not the case. Super Bomberman R is another Nintendo Switch launch game, and the latest entry in the very long-running Bomberman franchise. Gameplay essentially revolves around running around a 2D grid, dropping bombs to try and trap and blow up other Bombermen. Unfortunately, this just reeks of nostalgia for me, and there isn't anything new here. If it had been launched later in the console cycle, I don't really feel it would be viewed as anything other than just a niche title. If you're desperate for something to play on your Switch, then by all means pick it up, but when it's sitting next to Zelda on the shelf, I struggle to recommend it.
Well, that's it for this week's show. But don't forget, you can watch any of our Swipe episodes on demand in all the usual places. And why not follow us on Twitter @Sky News Swipe. I'll be back next week. Hope you can join us then. Bye-bye.